While some people around him may try to slow progress or keep others from moving forward, 50 Cent takes a completely different approach. He stays driven, focused, and persistent, turning pressure into motivation and helping the people around him rise as he continues to succeed. His approach suggests that real power isn't about preventing others from succeeding. It's about creating opportunities for success.
I mean, Jay-Z's on a whole nother level. Like, I mean, you know, he's like, but you know what I like about 50? 50's on a whole nother level, but he's still approachable. You still get to meet the people and you know, Jay got to remember the people that made him. You know, I'm not saying I don't got respect. I respect Jay-Z, 50, used to respect, you know, Diddy, but all that crazy. But, you know, I always respected him because I looked at, for New York, those were.
Tensions appear to be building as Beyonce faces growing speculation following 50 Cent's announcement of another documentary exploring long-running power dynamics within the entertainment industry. Private alliances and behind-the-scenes relationships are being looked at more closely, while attention is shifting toward people who once seemed beyond serious scrutiny. As public opinion continues to change, questions about what happens next are becoming harder to ignore. Will Beyonce take a different direction, create distance from the controversy, or step back in an effort to maintain control over her legacy while the industry faces a long-awaited reckoning?
They don't give you the trophies. I got the checks. I didn't get the trophies. Like, Jay got all the trophies, man. That's because he signed that contract.
What contract?
The one with Beyonce. If you don't sign, you don't give him a trophy, she ain't coming. Oh,
the Beyonce done ran down on you once, Fifth. Come on.
No, she did worse. She jumped off the thing, off the ledge. I was like, I didn't really know what to do. That's the Jay. If he says the Jay in his face, he'll look at you and go, nah, that happened.
So Beyonce jumped down on you.
She jumped down. Oh, she was like on a windowsill.
Right.
We was in Vegas. She said, come on, I'm talking to her. She jumped down. She was like, and I'm like, wait, what is she doing? That stuff, that's me and Jay-Z stuff. This ain't got nothing to do with you, girl. Don't come on.
So Hov wasn't there?
I'm talking to Jay.
Talking to Jay.
As soon as I talked to Jay, she jumped down, came over. I said, oh, look at this.
They about to jump you.
You lucky Solange wasn't there.
Yeah, you lucky Solange wasn't there.
Solange was there, I would have had to reboot. Huh? What?
So what did B say, or she was just staring at you?
Nah, she came like she was ready. Like I thought something was going to happen. And I'm like, yo, whoa. She's throwing me off now. Because I don't know exactly how to respond to this. You are still Beyonce. Uh-oh. I'm sitting on this stuff going, she going, what is this guy? I'm like, wait, what happened?
Jay-Z may have understood that public attention could eventually turn toward him, but few people expected the amount of material being suggested in the recent documentary series. Its release created significant discussion throughout the industry, alongside claims that additional material exists and more projects could already be underway. Based on public comments, 50 Cent has indicated that the archive behind the project is extensive, fueling speculation and concern among some of hip-hop's most influential figures. Whether all of this material will ever become public remains unknown, but the broader message is difficult to miss. The era of keeping behind-the-scenes stories quiet may be coming to an end, and the industry is preparing for whatever comes next.
Coming out confirming that he does have more dirt on Diddy that he didn't even get to put in the 4 episodes on the Netflix Diddy documentary. And since it's 50 Cent, it's so hard telling what in the world he all has, but he said this in reference to the video footage that he got of the man recording Diddy before Diddy went to jail. And on top of all of this, he said more people came forward to him with allegations that didn't even make it into this Netflix Diddy documentary. And he alluded that he is about to drop this all on YouTube. He sat down to explain some of this on the Sherry show yesterday, and she said it shocked a lot of people to see this personal footage of Diddy. I know 50, the way you run, this cannot be all that you have. Is there other stuff that has not been shown? He said, yeah, well, there's some stuff that couldn't make it in because there was only 4 episodes in the Netflix Diddy documentary. And then Sherry asked 50 Cent, does this mean that there's going to be a part 2 of the Netflix Diddy documentary? And he said that he's just going to put it on YouTube. This was not the only time in this interview that this man said this. Like, he is sure on YouTube for whatever reason, and he was even laughing about it. And in my opinion, I feel like why he wants to put this on YouTube is because Netflix probably wouldn't let him put in certain things because of liability. I think this is one of the main reasons why some of the things weren't talked about in the Diddy documentary. But like I said, also, he is cut down to a certain amount of time. Netflix gave him 4 episodes, so he has to put everything in those 4 episodes. And she asked him, out of all of the people that were coming going forward? Have there been any new tips that you have gotten since it's been released? He said, well, yeah, everyone's.
The long-running tension between 50 Cent and Jay-Z has influenced public discussion for years, with both figures representing very different approaches to influence and leadership. Despite setbacks and opposition, 50 repeatedly rebuilt himself and returned stronger and more calculated, while the tension between the two continued in the background. Now that conversations surrounding power and influence are changing, the focus is becoming less about personal rivalry and more about legacy. Their contrasting philosophies have always been noticeable. One approach emphasizes control and exclusivity, while the other focuses on resilience, growth, and bringing others upward along the way. In that sense, real strength can be measured by how many people are able to succeed alongside you.
I mean, Jay-Z's on a whole nother level. Like, I mean, you know, he's like, but you know what I like about 50? 50's on a whole nother level, but he's still approachable. You still get to meet the people and you know, Jay got to remember the people that made him. You know, I'm not saying I don't got respect. I respect Jay-Z, 50, used to respect, you know, Diddy, but all that crazy going on. But, you know, I always respected him because I looked at, for New York, those were like the, you know, the guys. You know what I'm saying? The guys with the most money and the most influence. So with Jay is like, when the last time you haven't seen Jay. So I think people are just going to say that. You know what I'm saying? But for me, I mean, Jay, you know, you got to remember, he didn't want 50 at the Super Bowl. That was crazy. I'm like,
wait, Jay didn't want 50 at the Super Bowl?
You didn't know that? Yeah, he didn't want.
I remember Eminem pushed for it.
That was some haters. Yeah,
I remember Eminem was like, I'm not going to do it unless 50 does it. I heard that.
Yeah,
but I didn't know that Jay was trying to stop it.
I don't think Jay. I don't know. 50 never told me that, but I don't think Jay wanted him there. I don't know.
Because of what? Some of the.
I mean, you know, it's competition. You got to think. 50 always been competition for Jay. Remember, I'm about $1. What the 50 Cent?
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
That was what, 9? What was that? 9?
But after that, they did a song together. Remember the whole
50 was always competition. Then remember Jay said, yo, 50's coming. He told Siegel and them and Memphis Bleak and all them.
Yeah.
And come on, 50's like, he's on a whole nother level. You got to remember, he came after Jay and Rockefeller. G-Unit came, and people might on G-Unit, but with Eminem, Dr. Dre, 50 Cent, nobody has outsold us, bro.
Yeah.
Nobody has had the effect that we.
For years, rumors have circulated about powerful circles operating privately and witnessing things that the public never gets to see. But what continues to drive the discussion is the silence that often surrounds people with influence. Stories involving private gatherings, blurred boundaries, and unspoken knowledge have raised broader questions about responsibility and accountability at the highest levels of entertainment. Whether motivated by loyalty, caution, or self-protection, certain individuals allegedly remained close to powerful figures while controversies developed elsewhere, choosing discretion instead of intervention. As scrutiny increases, the conversation is moving beyond sensational allegations and toward a larger examination of how influence, silence, and responsibility interact when fame can hide uncomfortable truths and power can test a person's character.
Said it, they're not here to defend themselves. Do you think the Carters will speak about any of this? About
Beyonce
what's going on?
Beyonce is losing hundreds of thousands, millions of followers every day, and she still hasn't said anything. Just pretending like life is great in Paris.
Is it her place to say something?
I mean, probably not, considering she's gonna be indicted for anything she would say. These are criminals. Diddy is a drug dealer, and so is Jay-Z. The proof is there. How many up people does he have to be aware of before people see him for who he is?
It seems like these artists are trying to run away from their past. Diddy changed his name multiple times to say, that's not me. I'm trying to move beyond Diddy. I'm love now.
What kind of love? Baby oil love? Baby love? Explicit love, hey!
What concerns many observers most is the larger discussion surrounding power, influence, and the way young talent can be shaped within an industry where boundaries are sometimes unclear. Long-standing rumors and second-hand accounts have contributed to debates about control, unequal power, and environments where questionable behavior may gradually become normalized. When someone achieves success at a young age and receives guidance from extremely powerful figures, their understanding of the industry can be influenced in ways that may be difficult to undo later. As these conversations return, attention is increasingly moving away from individual personalities and toward the larger system itself, particularly one that can sometimes place fame and protection ahead of accountability and leave lasting effects on how influence is learned, defended, and passed forward.
People in the industry, been around for a long time, was there when he first started dating Beyonce at 17, 18, he was 30 something. You didn't know his age. When I look back and see how old Jay-Z was, I think Jay-Z was born in like 69 or 67, something like that. 67 right there, 69. I think he was born in 69. Beyonce, they say she was born in 81. You understand? But back then in 81, when we was in the club together, 98, 99, she wasn't even supposed to be in the club, but she was in the club. It was Club Eugene's, and Jay was dating her. And at that time, if you look at Jay's age, he was about 30 years old. So, isn't she still somewhat a child? To me, she is. But I guess they protect child. That's how you protect a child. You know, dating her at the age of 30-something years old, and she's 17, 18 years old. If that's her true age. We really don't know her true age because Gabrielle Union said she went to junior high school with her, and Gabrielle Union is considered 6-7 years older than Beyonce age that she getting. So we really don't know.
To understand why the situation is being taken seriously, many people point to the way young artists were brought into environments dominated by enormous influence and authority, where ambition could sometimes take priority over protection. Well-known figures have entered these discussions not necessarily as direct targets, but as representations of a system that critics argue repeatedly failed to properly protect emerging talent. As scrutiny increases, concern among powerful industry figures may have less to do with individual rumors and more to do with the possibility that greater transparency could encourage many previously unheard voices to speak. If that happens, the issue would extend beyond assigning blame to individuals and instead force the industry to confront a culture where silence, unequal power, and control were allegedly allowed to continue for years.
War has been warning us about Jay-Z. Jay-Z has now had an official lawsuit. It's everywhere. It's now being talked about louder than ever. I guess, does that give you some peace to know that people are finally really questioning this man?
It's emboldening me. I spoke on Piers Morgan. I said that I had 3 victims that I've been working with, victims of the Carters, that were ready to come forward. This might help them feel a little more confident now. So this is great because he's been evading. But the thing is, everyone in the backdrop knew that he was the celebrity John Doe. Everybody knew that. They knew it when I did Piers Morgan.
Is Beyonce celebrity B?
I hope to God not. But she was around. And she's very... she's got enough on her plate. After everything that happened with the election and everything that's happening right now, I'm not going to dump on that woman. She got better fish to fry.
Well,
what I will say is that her husband, she knows exactly who he is.
Yeah.
She knows. She knows.
Jack Nicholson described both men as people who understood the value of power, influence, and leverage long before the public began paying close attention. What separated them, however, was how they chose to use that understanding. One operated through visibility, outspoken behavior, and constant movement in the public spotlight, while the other relied more heavily on precision, restraint, and discretion, building relationships through boardrooms, private discussions, and carefully developed networks. By remaining distant from spectacle while staying connected to institutional power, he created a position where influence could operate quietly, protection could be strategic, and authority could be exercised without unnecessary attention when circumstances became unpredictable.
It's kind of funny to me, man, is that Diddy used to hate Jay-Z. He hated Jay-Z enough when he was trying to get Ja Rule to go at Jay-Z. This is back in the early 2000s.
Did Diddy always say negative things about Jay around you?
The time he was trying to get Ja Rule to go at Jay, yeah, he was. They worked it out.
Was there a reason behind it?
I couldn't tell you the reason behind it. It's probably because Big had died. I don't know what it was, man. I don't know why he wanted Ja Rule to go at Jay. I guess if he kept them beefing or kept them into some bullshit, he could rise up in between both of them. You know what I mean? It definitely.
Gene explained that this approach helps explain why Jay-Z is rarely placed in situations where he appears especially vulnerable or exposed. His strategy has generally been calculated and deliberate. While Diddy built his influence through visibility, social connections, and maintaining a presence across different circles, Jay-Z followed a more reserved path, building power by controlling access, maintaining distance and carefully choosing when to appear. One model depended heavily on exposure and relationships, while the other relied on restraint and precision. It demonstrates that influence can be established through silence and distance just as effectively as through constant visibility and broad connections.
I know you heard the statement that, Jay lawyer came out with about how he wasn't really friends with Diddy. From your point of view, was they really friends or no?
How close was Diddy and Jay-Z? They was close enough that they wasn't playing basketball, they wasn't playing baseball, they wasn't playing football, and they wasn't playing hockey or soccer for Diddy to come on stage, pat him on his ass, and then make the statement to people in the world that can't nobody call me Sean but Jay-Z. Now, I don't know what kind of statement, and I can't say, I wish I could say half a homo, but I know I can't say it, but I don't know what kind of half a homo that is, and you trying to say that you're not close to somebody. You coming on stage, patting them on their ass, and then you making a broad statement to the public, can't nobody call me Sean but Sean Carter. And I heard Jay-Z said the same thing about them. But they were so close that they had matching white girls together. Because when they used to see each other, they used to say, yo, how your skinny white girl doing? He'd be like, yo, how your skinny white girl doing? So, I guess that's a certain type of close.
If there was one major miscalculation in Jay-Z's otherwise carefully managed rise, it may have been becoming too closely connected to the wrong circle, an association that is now receiving renewed attention. Relationships that once appeared strategic are being reconsidered as public scrutiny increases and older alliances return to the spotlight. What previously looked mutually beneficial is now being examined for its potential long-term consequences. It serves as a reminder that even carefully constructed empires can eventually face the consequences of decisions made years earlier when circumstances change and accountability becomes part of the discussion.
The part with Jay, I go, oh shoot, like
to us, black excellence,
I had to be there.
We getting tighter, you know what I'm saying? And united we stand, and ain't nothing else.
Black excellence, they're sitting there like, yeah. It's a billionaire brunch.
Oh,
like,
I hate you, man.
unaware of anything going on here. This is the one time I'm going to be with you this year. Come on, bro.
That's right.
Look, when Jay signed his contract, the big one was with Beyonce. When he signed that contract, the marriage contract, he got trophies. Now those
Wondering what you're
those
talking
fucking
about.
trophies came rolling in, buddy. He started getting Grammys left and right, man. I mean, look, if you look at his career, if you look at his career,
You're gonna let him say that. Jay was getting Grammy.
he had one.
Exactly.
He had one.
And he ain't show up.
He had like 20 now.
Oh, Lord.
He had like 18 since he been down. Look, he had one, bro. Hard Knock Life.
You're not wrong.
He was one. After that, he got them shits. He's like drinking. His pictures with him like things the cup.
Wait a minute. So you're saying the success is derived from the marriage?
I've absolutely been treated differently.
The accolades. Because he's no longer viewed as like a street or gangster rapper. Now he's viewed as a businessman, entrepreneur, family man.
And the biggest ones because of the position Beyonce's.
Oh, wow.
Trusting the wrong person may have become one of the most expensive mistakes for those closest to the situation. as relationships once based on mutual interests now appear to be under increasing pressure. What was previously viewed as loyalty can eventually become a liability, with the consequences reaching professional circles that were once expected to provide security and stability. As scrutiny continues, one pattern becomes increasingly visible. Self-preservation can take priority when the pressure becomes intense, regardless of who ends up dealing with the consequences. During moments like this, alliances can break apart, reputations face serious tests, and the consequences of misplaced trust become much harder to overlook.
He really screwed over Mark Agnifilo. I gotta say, this is awful that Diddy owes his life to Mark Agnifilo, literally his life, because he could have gotten life in prison were it not for Mark Agnifilo, his defense lawyer, who had a brilliant strategy. And Diddy screwed him over when he hired this videographer to chronicle his life without telling Mark Agnifilo that when Diddy and Mark were on the phone, this videographer was recording what Mark clearly expected to be an attorney-client privileged relationship. Now, it is true that the client holds that privilege. The lawyer doesn't. But Mark's clear expectation was that this was a private conversation. These were private conversations. And that he and Diddy could talk openly. And Mark could talk to Diddy not just as a client, but as a person, and tried to guide him in a time leading up to his arrest. And unbeknownst to Mark Agnifilo, Diddy has got this guy recording the conversation as he's sitting there saying, "You are screwing this up. You are messing up this case. We're losing." And knowing that that's on tape. And it's almost like he's performing for the camera and not telling Mark what's.
Reports indicate that attempts may be underway to prevent an upcoming documentary from being released, with questions being raised about how certain materials were obtained and whether they should be made public. The opposing side, however, has maintained that the material was acquired through legitimate means and came from a long-planned project that was never completed because of internal disagreements. What originally began as a dispute over ownership and compensation eventually created an opportunity for outside involvement, turning unused material into a major source of attention. As these private disputes return to public discussion, the situation demonstrates how unresolved business conflicts and broken partnerships can unexpectedly change who controls stories that were once intended to stay private.
It's your boss. Yo, man, yo, how 50 get? Blah, blah, blah. Yo, Puff, take this self doing that. Let me explain something to y'all. All right? Whether it's NDAs, whether it's whatever. When these young boys come in, first of all, he only deal with young videographers because he want to rob them, and he know that they want the opportunity to follow Puff Daddy, P. Diddy. They want that opportunity. So they get him at a low price anyway. But when you stay out so many hours a day, Puff wants a videographer with him 24 hours a day on call. Whether we on a yacht, whether we on a ship, wherever we at, he wants to videotape that, right? So now, they come to agreement. They come to whatever the pay is going to be. But then it be so many hours on that invoice that he don't want to pay. He gets in touch with the office. He gets in touch with the chief of staff. Yo, what is this I'm paying? What is this I'm paying? You know what you paying. You was outside all of these hours. It's 160 something hours in a week. You was outside 140. That's the invoice he put in. So now, being if you got a contract and he don't stand to that contract, guess what happens? He could do whatever he want to do with that footage. So now that footage goes to the highest bidder. And 50 had to be the highest bidder to get there. Yo, this is business. You know what I'm saying? Everybody ain't in love with you. Everybody ain't dedicated. Everybody ain't loyal to the point of stupidity.
Speculation is increasing that the documentary's release could become a major turning point, potentially triggering significant personal and professional changes behind the scenes. For years, Beyonce has focused heavily on protecting her reputation, maintaining public confidence, and preserving a carefully built brand through challenges that might have damaged other careers. She has generally responded to past difficulties with stability and resilience rather than immediate reaction. However, people close to the situation reportedly believe this moment could carry a different significance, potentially leading to a major reset driven less by scandal and more by the desire to protect her legacy, independence, and long-term direction.
And Jay-Z have a toxic relationship. He preyed on her when she was just 18 years old. Fans accuse him of grooming her and then later on controlling her every move. At the same time, it's been revealed that he's a cheater and he cannot be.
Public discussion surrounding Beyoncé and Jay-Z's long-standing partnership has intensified, with critics questioning issues involving balance, influence, control, and trust as pressure continues to increase. Once widely viewed as an almost untouchable power couple, their relationship is now being examined through a more critical perspective, with questions surrounding autonomy, influence, and credibility becoming increasingly prominent. Industry observers have also pointed to the level of scrutiny Jay-Z is currently facing, describing it as unusually intense compared with earlier periods of his career. For decades, his position within mainstream culture appeared highly protected, but the current environment feels different as public perception changes and traditional safeguards appear less effective. This could represent an important shift in how influence, reputation, and legacy are evaluated.
It's just odd to see him in that, in that way, getting looked at in that way by white people, like Jay does, yeah, like I hope that shit didn't happen, but I'm like, damn, they turned the world real. Like people on a certain level have been fucking with him a certain way where he couldn't do no wrong for like 25 years straight. This is the first time he's not getting a pass with white media. Like he can control black media because a lot of them either work or do business with him. But like, drink champs can't get him out of this one, and neither can Charlemagne. Because, those are the guys that hold him down no matter what he do anyway. So you got to get to People Magazine and Entertainment Tonight right now because they on his head. But the question is why? Like, why now? Because for me, I'd be like, yo, that's so ridiculous. Yo, take that to trial. She's not going to win. Let's get a deposition or something. So I don't know why they on his head so much. Pause. But I never seen him, under this, I never seen him in this position to have to explain himself. Pause.
How you feel about the statement he came out with?
I mean, I didn't hear him say anything. I heard a piece of, like I said, I'm doing an interview, so I talk. I thought it was long. For a statement, I thought it was long, pause. But, I think right now, his silence is the worst thing for him. If he is innocent, he needs to let people ask him questions, and he needs to be able to say his side of the story, as opposed to letting that lawyer talk. Because that lawyer, I don't trust that lawyer because I went to...
50 Cent recently posted a video on Instagram teasing the next stage of a documentary project that is reportedly still being developed, with attention now moving toward Jay-Z. The announcement has sparked another wave of speculation and strengthened the belief among some observers that Beyoncé could be facing a strategic crossroads rather than an emotional one. In the past, remaining quiet and maintaining loyalty may have helped her preserve control and protect what she had built. But if renewed attention surrounding past relationships begins to affect her legacy or long-term plans, creating distance could become less about reacting to controversy and more about preservation. It could represent a deliberate effort to maintain her independence, influence, and future according to her own priorities.
Diddy footage that he paid from the videographer that Diddy didn't pay. They are saying 50 has footage that will not only add more time to Diddy's sentence, but Diddy might not ever come out. Listen up, check this out. Now y'all know that footage that where Diddy is behind the scenes talking to his lawyer and all of this stuff, and people are like, damn, what was Diddy recording it? Well, Diddy was recording it because he thought he was about to beat the case, so he wanted to do a Netflix documentary. Didn't pay the guy, and then 50 got all 140 hours of footage of secret Diddy tactics. Well, there's a guy named Neil who was mentioned in the court, works right up under Diddy, was organizing everything. Allegedly, they are saying that he is on video, film, tampering with witnesses, giving out addresses, offering money, bribing, we'll pay for your lawyers, all kind of shit that could be counted as witness tampering, obstruction of justice. And 50, of all people, has his hands on this footage. And I'm hearing that this could implicate Diddy's lawyers in some bullshit. They could be charged. This is getting wild. And I'm hearing that this 50 Cent documentary is just the tip of the iceberg, and I like it.
What's crazy is this man in this video footage of 50 Cent's post starts talking about a specific name, a man named Neil. And this man goes on talking about how he heard that 50 Cent has this extra footage, but it's footage that could possibly lead to Diddy getting more charges, like witness tampering, obstruction of justice, and more. And what's crazy about the name Neil that he brings up in this is the fact that the other day, Diddy's former chef Jordan, who is somebody that was a witness during this trial, who was about to testify against Diddy before the prosecution took back some of their witnesses who were testifying, literally claimed that Neil Dominique, a former assistant of Diddy, is the one that told Diddy that she was subpoenaed to the grand jury at the very start of all of this. She wrote this whole big post to Neil Dominique and tagged him in it and said, "I just want to put this out there because I've been debating how I wanted to handle the situation. Now, I don't know you from a can of paint, but I'm really wondering why you decided to tell Sean Combs that I was contacted by the feds. I saw that you wrote him a good character letter too. Come to find out, you were actually providing Puff with information on a whole bunch of people throughout the case. So my thing is, why were you so comfortable putting me in danger? Why were you so comfortable putting other people in danger? You provided addresses to him. Were you like a double agent working for the feds and Puff?" This is actually crazy because she alleged that Neil Dominique was approached by the feds as well in this investigation into Diddy because he was a former assistant.
What surprised Gene most was not necessarily the reaction to the revelations themselves, but the criticism directed toward the person bringing them forward. Instead of concentrating on the behavior being discussed, critics began questioning 50 Cent's motives and character, effectively moving attention away from the issue of accountability. The narrative changed rapidly. Bringing information into the open was portrayed as deliberately provocative, while transparency was treated as a form of betrayal. In Gene's view, this exposed a deeper problem within the culture. Powerful people can sometimes be protected by attacking those who speak about them rather than addressing the actions that created the controversy in the first place.
He did, man. Yeah, he got everybody going, man. That, he's getting a lot of backlash, man. Like, people are like mad at 50 for getting behind this thing.
Well, see, the thing about it is that people are out there rabbit-ass mind. And they gonna sit up here and they gonna say some stuff like, they try to make it up like, it's because of a girl, it's because of a woman. A man that can have any woman in the damn world, you understand, go any parts of the world, find beautiful women all over the world, that's willing to do whatever he wants to. I'ma be mad because this dude got this one. Nah, it's bigger and it's more than that. They don't want to say it. A lot of these cats out here don't want to tell the truth behind.
The major question now is whether Beyonce will choose to distance herself in order to protect everything she has built, or remain beside Jay-Z as scrutiny continues to intensify and potentially face the consequences alongside him. And if 50 Cent really does possess the amount of material he has suggested, the eventual impact could be much larger than anyone currently expects. The uncertainty is increasing, the stakes are becoming higher, and the situation is still developing. Let us know what you think in the comments, stay tuned for what comes next, and make sure you're subscribed because this story is clearly not finished yet.